Ever wondered what truly defines the worth of a woman? It's not just in what she does, but in the quiet power of who she is. We often overlook it, but a good woman doesn't just exist in a space, she transforms it. She loves, supports, and holds things together in ways no one sees, becoming the silent force behind homes, dreams, and lives. Her value is not loud. It is felt in the peace she carries into a room. It shows in her loyalty when things become uncertain, her patience when others walk away, and a humility that gives without keeping score. These are not just traits, they are the foundation of something rare. Because sometimes, all it takes is one act of her kindness to change the direction of a life completely. There's a truth we often forget. A good woman's love doesn't need noise to be powerful. It quietly shapes everything around it. And that kind of strength should never go unseen. If there's a woman in your life who steadies you, inspires you, or keeps you grounded, remind her.
Hello dear friend, and welcome once again to The Light That Never Fades. My name is Kennedy Osule, and it is always a joy and an honor to have you join me for another episode. Whether you are listening from your home, while traveling, at work, or enjoying a quiet moment of reflection, thank you for choosing to spend this time with me. I hope that what we share today will not only simply be another conversation, but a meaningful reflection that inspires us to look at ourselves, our families, our communities, and our world through the light of spiritual principles. Here on The Light That Never Fades, we strive to explore the challenges of our time through the teachings of the Bahá'í faith, believing that lasting solutions to humanity's problems begin with the transformation of human heart. Today, I would like us to reflect on a question that concerns every human being, regardless of culture, nationality, religion, or background. It is a question about the dignity of women. Imagine for a moment that every woman on earth were gathered in one place. We will be looking at nearly half of the entire human family. Every one of those women is someone's daughter, someone's sister, someone's mother, someone's wife, someone's teacher, someone's colleague, or someone's friend. More importantly, every one of them is a soul created by God, possessing limitless spiritual capacities. Yet, despite this profound reality, many women continue to face disrespect, discrimination, violence, unequal opportunities, and injustice. This cause women suffer from these injustices, but because whenever one part of humanity suffers, the whole of humanity is diminished. Sometimes we hear discussions about women's rights as though they concern only women, but that is not true. The progress of women is the progress of humanity. When girls are denied education, the whole community loses. When women are prevented from contributing their talents, society loses wisdom, creativity, and compassion. When violence is committed against women, families are wounded, children suffer, and generations carry the consequences. Therefore, this conversation is not about one group asking for special treatment. It is about recognizing a spiritual truth. Humanity can never advance while half of its members are held back. The Bahá'í faith presents this principle with remarkable clarity. Bahá'u'lláh, the founder of the Bahá'í faith, reminds us that every human being has been created with inherent nobility. He reveals these beautiful words: O Son of Spirit, noble have I created thee. Why dost thou abase thyself? Notice that this statement does not distinguish between men and women. It speaks to every human soul. Before we belong to a nation, a race, a profession, or even a family, we are noble creations of God. Our true identity is spiritual. Therefore, to disrespect another human being is, in reality, to ignore the nobility that God Himself has placed within that person. As I reflect on this teaching, I cannot help but ask myself, if every human soul is noble, why do we still live in a world where millions of women are treated as though they are worthless? Why do many societies continue to tolerate unequal pay for equal work? Why do girls in some parts of the world still struggle to receive an education? Why are women sometimes excluded from important decisions that affect their own lives? These questions are not merely political or economic, they are spiritual. They challenge us to examine whether our actions truly reflect the principles we claim to believe. One example that deserves thoughtful reflection is health care related to women. Across the world, millions of women experience menstruations every month. It is a natural process, essential to the continuation of human life itself. Every person listening to this podcast exists because this remarkable biological process is part of God's design. Yet, in many communities, menstruation remains surrounded by embarrassment, silence, or even shame. Some girls miss school because they cannot afford basic menstruation products. Others grow up believing that something perfectly natural should never be discussed openly. As a society, we should ask ourselves whether we are showing the dignity and compassion that every human being deserves. The Bahá'í teachings constantly encourage us to remove prejudice, replace ignorance with knowledge, and ensure that every individual can live with dignity. Another area that deserves our attention is education. Education is not simply about learning mathematics, science, or language. Education shapes character. It develops virtues. It prepares human beings to contribute to society. Abdu'l-Bahá places extraordinary importance on education, especially the education of girls. He explains that if a family has limited resources, priority should be given to educating daughters because they are often the first educators of the next generation. This is not because girls are more valuable than boys. Rather, it recognizes the profound influence that educated mothers have on the spiritual, intellectual, and moral development of their children. Imagine the transformation that could take place if every girl in the world had access to quality education. Entire community will be uplifted and future generations will inherit greater wisdom and compassion. One of the most beautiful metaphors in the Bahá'í writings comes from Abdu'l-Bahá, who said, "The world of humanity has two wings. One is women and the other men. Not until both wings are equally developed can the bird fly." This image is simple yet deeply profound. Think of a bird attempting to fly with only one strong wing while the other remains weak. No matter how hard it struggles, it cannot soar. Humanity is exactly the same. We often ask why there is so much conflict, injustice, and inequality in the world. Part of the answer lies here. Humanity cannot reach its full potential while one of its two wings is prevented from developing fully. And this principle also changes the way we understand the role of men. Equality is not a competition between women and men. It's not about replacing one form of dominance with another. Because the Bahá'í teaching calls us to partnership. Men and women are collaborators in building civilization. They possess different experiences and perspectives, yet equal spiritual worth. True strength is not found in controlling others. True strength is found in service, humility, justice, and love. A man does not become weaker by respecting women. On the contrary, he becomes stronger because he reflects the qualities that God wishes to see in every human being. Unfortunately, our modern world often sends confusing messages about women. On one hand, society tells women they must meet impossible standards of beauty. Advertisement, films, and social media frequently judge women by appearance rather than character. On the other hand, women are often criticized for choices about their own lives in a way that men are not. Such contradictions reveal a deeper problem. We have too often measured human worth by outward appearance instead of inward qualities. Yet Bahá'u'lláh invites us to see each person through spiritual eye. A person's kindness, truthfulness, justice, generosity, wisdom, and devotion to humanity are infinitely more valuable than physical appearance. As I reflect on this, I remember that every great civilization has been built not merely by intelligence but by virtues. Knowledge without compassion can become oppression. Power without justice can become tyranny. Wealth without generosity can become selfishness. Likewise, beauty without character cannot sustain a civilization. The Bahá'í teaching continually reminds us that the true measure of greatness is service to humanity. This principle applies equally to women and men. Perhaps the greatest transformation begins not in government or institutions, but in our own homes. How do we speak to our daughters? How do we encourage our sisters? How do we listen to our wives? How do we treat our mothers? How do boys grow up observing their fathers interacting with women? These everyday moments quietly shape the future of humanity. Every act of respect plants a seed. Every word of encouragement builds confidence. Every opportunity given allows another soul to develop the capacities that God has placed within them. I invite each of us to pause for a moment and ask ourselves, when the people around me experience my words and my action, do they feel respected? Do they feel valued? Do they feel that I recognize the nobility God has placed within them? These are not easy questions, but they are necessary if we truly wish to contribute to building a better world. And now, I would like us to continue this conversation by asking an important question. What kind of world are we building, and what role does each of us play in building it? When we observe the world around us, we see remarkable achievements. Humanity has explored space, developed incredible technologies, cured diseases that once claimed millions of lives, and connected people across continents in a matter of seconds. Yet, despite these astonishing accomplishments, many women still face situations that should have disappeared long ago. In many places, women continue to earn less than men for similar work. Others are denied opportunities simply because they are women. Many still experience violence in their homes or communities. Countless girls are prevented from pursuing education because of poverty, harmless traditions, or conflict. And these realities remind us that material progress alone does not guarantee moral progress. A civilization can become technologically advanced while remaining spiritually immature. This is why the Bahá'í teachings insist that true civilization must be built upon spiritual principles. Baha'u'lláh writes, "The best beloved of all things in my sight is justice." These words invite us to reflect deeply on the meaning of justice. Justice is not merely the responsibility of judges or governments. Justice begins within the human heart. It means learning to see people with fairness instead of prejudice. It means refusing to remain silent when we witness injustice. It means recognizing the truth even when doing so challenges our own habits or traditions. And justice asks us to see every woman, every man, every child, not through the lens of stereotypes or expectations, but through the eyes of God, who created every soul with infinite potential. One area where justice deserves carefully attention is the way modern society often portrays women. Everywhere we look, on television, in advertising, on social media, in music videos, and even in everyday marketing, we often see women reduced to their physical appearance. Their value is measured by beauty, fashion, or attractiveness instead of their intelligence, compassion, wisdom, creativity, and spiritual qualities. This objectification does not only harm women, it also harms men, because it teaches boys to judge others superficially and prevents genuine relationships based on respect. And the Bahá'í faith calls us to something much higher. It teaches us that Every human being should be known for the qualities of the soul rather than the appearance of the body. When we begin to value character above appearance, our relationships become healthier, our communities become stronger, and our society becomes more just. I often reflect on how easily we can unknowingly contribute to these harmful attributes. Sometimes it is through the jokes we laugh at. Sometimes it is through the comments we make without thinking. Sometimes it is by remaining silent when someone is humiliated or disrespected. The transformation of society does not begin with someone else. It begins with us. Every conversation, every interaction, and every decision offers an opportunity to either strengthen the culture of respect or reinforce the culture of prejudice. Baha'u'lláh reminds us that words possesses extraordinary power. A kind word can heal a wounded heart, while a careless word can leave scars that remain for years. Therefore, let us ask ourselves, are our words building unity or are they reinforcing division? Another important aspect of equality is consultation. The faith places great emphasis on consultation as a means of discovering truth and making wise decisions. Consultation requires humility. It requires listening. It requires valuing different perspectives. In a truly united family, women and men consult together. In a healthy community, women and men consult together. In institutions, women and men contribute their insights equally. Consultation reminds us that no individual possesses all wisdom. Truth emerges when hearts are united in sincere search for solutions. Imagine the transformation that will take place if every family learned to consult with love and mutual respect rather than domination or fear. Imagine communities where every girl's voice is heard, every mother's experience is valued, and every father's wisdom is offered with humility. Such communities will become schools of unity, preparing humanity for a more peaceful future. The Universal House of Justice has repeatedly emphasized that the equality of women and men is essential for the establishment of peace. Peace is not merely the absence of war. Peace is the presence of justice, trust, cooperation, and mutual respect. It begins in the home, extends into neighborhood, and eventually embraces the whole world. We often ask how we can contribute to world peace. Perhaps one answer is simpler than we imagine. We begin by ensuring that every member of our family experiences dignity, encouragement, and love. A child who grows up witnessing mutual respect between parents learns that equality is natural. A young boy who sees his father honoring his mother learns to honor women. A young girl who is encouraged to develop her talents grow into a confident woman capable of serving humanity with joy and purpose. And one of the remarkable teachings of the faith is that service to humanity is the highest expression of spirituality. Service is not reserved for extraordinary people. It belongs to every one of us. A teacher who encourages girls to pursue education is serving humanity. A father who supports his daughter's dream is serving humanity. A young man who refuses to tolerate disrespectful language towards women is serving humanity. A community that ensures women participate fully in consultation is serving humanity. And these acts may appear small, but history is transformed through countless acts of quiet courage and consistent kindness. My dear friend, I'd also like to speak directly to the men listening today. Equality does not diminish us, it elevates us. Respecting women does not reduce our dignity, it strengthens our character. Supporting women's education, leadership, and participation does not threaten our place in society, it enriches the entire human family. We are not competitors. We are partners in building a civilization worthy of future generations. The bird of humanity cannot fly if one wing attempts to overpower the other. It can only soar when both wings move together in harmony. And to the women listening, I would like to say this with sincerity and respect. Your worth has never depended on society's opinions, appearance, achievements, or approval. Your value comes from God, who created you noble and endowed you with limitless capacities. Whether the world recognizes your contribution or not, your acts of love, sacrifice, service, wisdom, and perseverance have immeasurable value. Continue developing your talents. Continue serving your communities. Continue believing in the power of your voice. Humanity needs your insight, your compassion, your strength, and your vision. As we approach the end of today's reflection, let us return to one of the most beloved passages from the Baha'i writings. Abdu'l-Bahá tells us that humanity is like a bird with two wings. This image is not merely poetic. It is a roadmap for the future of civilization. Every time we educate a girl, we strengthen one wing. Every time we encourage a boy to respect women, we strengthen the other. Every time we reject prejudice, choose justice, and practice consultation, both wings grow stronger. Slowly but surely, humanity begins to rise. I leave you with this question for personal reflection. If someone observed the way I treat the women in my life, my mother, my sister, my wife, my daughter, my colleague, my neighbor, will they see the teachings of Bahá'u'lláh reflected in my actions? Our answer to that question may reveal more about our spirituality than any words we could ever speak. Bahá'u'lláh gives us the hopeful assurance. So powerful is the light of unity that it can illuminate the whole earth. What a beautiful promise. Unity is not an impossible dream. It is a divine reality waiting to be expressed through our daily actions. Every act of justice, every word of encouragement, every effort to remove prejudice brings the light closer to the world. Thank you, dear friend, for spending this moment with me on The Light That Never Fades. I am Kennedy Osule, and it has been my privilege to accompany you on this journey of reflection. If today's conversation has touched your heart, I encourage you to continue it with your family, your friends, your youth groups, your devotional gatherings, and your communities. Let this conversation become seeds of transformation, for it is through countless sincere conversations that hearts change, communities grow, and civilizations advance. Until we meet again, may Bahá'u'lláh guide your path, strengthen your faith, and fill your heart with the courage to become a builder of unity, a champion of justice, and a servant of humanity. Remember that every soul you meet carries within it the light of God. Honor the light, nurture it, and help it shine. This is Kennedy Osule, your host on The Light That Never Fades. Thank you for listening. May peace, hope, and the love of God be with you always. Goodbye, and until next time, keep the light that never fades burning brightly in your heart.